I had the opportunity to catch up with Team Gym City and Rachel's Irish Adventures after their racing over in Poland at Rajd Beskidy. It was a great chat. I didn't get all the team together for both teams, so I was missing a couple of members from each team, but it was still great just to get the lowdown on how the race went for both teams. It was also an amazing experience to see two Irish teams on the podium, and we had a great chat about that as well. So, without further ado, let's get into it and have a chat with the guys about it. Welcome, everyone. Delighted to have you all on board this evening. I know a few of you are hopping in and hopping out, but I suppose what we're going to talk about this evening is Rajd Beskidy, right, in Poland. So I know, Elise, this is your second time being back there with the Polish team. Johan and Rachel, it was your first time over there, and hopefully we'll have Kellyanne and Kevin on as well shortly. And I think it was Kevin's first time over there as well. And I suppose just that we were very lucky to have kind of near enough two Irish teams or two halves of Irish teams over there. And obviously both the finishing in the top three. It was actually a really good race just to track and watch from my side of things. I really enjoyed it, and it was really, really nice to have Kellyanne over there as well, just to do a couple of lives and kind of give us a bit of a feeling on how you were all keeping. So, in any particular order, I suppose, Elise, maybe if we go with you first, because you were racing with the guys, you raced with three Polish last year. How did it end up that it was Kevin racing with the team this year?
Eric, the third fella, he wasn't racing with them this year. So we were looking kind of after Ecuador, to be honest, we were looking for someone else to fill that spot. And I had suggested Noddy early on. And I think it was around, I don't think it was sort of like maybe February or March, or maybe even later than that, that Noddy kind of was able to just pull everything together and commit to it. So we were a team then from then on.
Okay.
To me as well, because I like that. I know Noddy and I knew that he'd slot in nicely with the lads as well.
Yeah, well, you race together quite regularly, even in the shorter races. So yeah, I'm sure it was nice.
A good few months as well, so it wasn't going to be an issue really from my point of view. He's going to just fit in nicely. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then Johan and Rachel, your first time over there, your team kind of had a bit of an incident. Obviously, I think Kellyanne was meant to be racing with the, and obviously due to injury, she was unable to attend. So how did it work out for you kind of in those last couple of weeks to try and get a team together and get over there?
Yeah, I suppose like it was very unlucky. Kellyanne came off the bike at the beat. One of those things that you always hate. You always think that could happen, but falling asleep on the bike is pretty treacherous. So yeah, it was a nightmare trying to get someone. But I made a lot of new friends in the process. I think I contacted everything from pro trail runners, pro cyclists, every adventure racer. I definitely had stretched out and asked a lot of people, and yeah, just got really lucky then in the end. And to be honest, it actually all worked out really well. And Kellyanne still came over. So yeah, it definitely proved that the toughest part is just getting everyone to the start line uninjured and ready to go. So yeah, it's Cranny, who's I think a lot of people know him. He's been racing for 25 years. Managed literally days beforehand to organize himself that he could come over. So yeah, it worked out great. Like the three lads had never met each other before doing the race. So it was there was a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of it was just kind of getting to know each other at the start of it as well. And I think as the race progressed, we like communication became better and better. You know, Johan is French, obviously living in Ireland. Cranny is English. We forgive them for it after about 2 days. And then Ziggy is Polish and his English is okay, but you know, there was a lot of communication kind of challenges maybe at the start just to pin out. So but it was great. We had a really good time. The atmosphere was excellent, and just a great way to explore. With it's amazing for 4 people to come together that don't really know each other and share that experience, which is kind of the cool part of adventure racing as well. So in a nutshell, it all worked out great.
Good. And I suppose in your team then, Rachel, in terms of navigation, or I should probably ask Johan, in terms of navigation, Johan, were you the lead nav on the team, or was there a couple of you naving together, or what way did it work out?
Yeah, no, we shared the navigation with Ziggy. I suppose the fact that he's Polish and used to the maps, he took the lead. I was happy to get in the lead over. Like initially, in Poland, they like their maps and like they're supposed to have different type of maps. So I suppose like here, most of the races you just will have the like here the OSI map or a slightly different version of it. Whereas in Poland they had the LiDAR map, which is just I suppose a scan with like the altitude just of the ground, and then after they have that itinerary map and after the azimuth map. So I was happy to leave him with those that he's used to. And yeah, initially, at the start of the race, it was tough to get into, even if I've seen a few examples and I try to look at a few examples of maps. So yeah, he was taking the lead, and after I was trying to give him some support, and after take the lead in some of the sections and swap in some way, he would give me support. So
okay. Great. And Elise, for the guys on your team, obviously, Johan, you've raced with Kevin before. So in terms of that, who was lead nav, Elise, on your team? Was it Magic, or did they work together? Was it Kevin, or again?
It worked out really well. Magic was lead nav for most of it. Nadi was quite happy, and things similar to Johan with the different maps and stuff. So he was quite happy to let Magic lead, but Nadi was really good on the backup. And if there was any, they did work really well. Very well. They worked well together. And Magic's as well, that he was very happy with the way things worked out.
Okay, good. So for the first time that they worked together as well, it worked out really well.
Yeah, for us, the way the race went, team-wise, everything, it couldn't really have gone much better, to be honest with you.
Okay, cool.
Everyone got on well, and like you said, Nadia and Magic worked well together on the maps. And yeah, we just had a bit of crack and a bit of chat, and it was all good.
And Rachel, what was probably, I suppose, the toughest point at the race for you in terms of looking at the logistics, the dark zone? There was lots of stuff going on in the race from recollection. I know we're a good few weeks on from the race now, but I suppose just looking back in retrospect, what would have been the most difficult part of the race for you in particular?
I really think the most difficult part was getting to the start line. It was pretty stressful. I really didn't want to go there as 3 people. I wanted to go and no matter what, just finish it. That was kind of the goal, firstly. And so I think that was, first of all, the toughest part. And then the next part is just we arrived in the first transition, and Cranny had a bike that his skewer would not go through. So we wasted, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes of that first transition. And he was like, I don't think I can cycle. He couldn't get the bike in. So he managed to somehow get it in. And it's kind of things like this that are a bit more like kind of game changers rather than physical issues, I think. Because sure, everyone kind of goes in ups and downs, and you can pull someone or help someone out. But I think things like, a mechanical or something that's a bit of a game changer can't really do much about it. But from a physical point of view, I'd say the race was tough. It was quite technical compared to what we'd be used to in Ireland or heading over to Scotland, which is more kind of rolling hills. This was very steep ground, a lot of bushwhacking. I'm not sure if that was due to our choice from the navigators, really, or whether that's the way it was, but we did one hell of a lot of bush bashing with bikes and friggin' everything. But yeah, no, like I think we kind of came together well, and like pace wise, I don't think anyone really kind of blew up or anything. So I felt pretty comfortable during it, and I think we all kind of worked well together in that way. So I wouldn't say there's one particular spot, one particular stage that was more difficult than the other.
Okay, cool. For you, Elise, what would be your most difficult moment during the race? I know you had a couple of different things going on. You were leading the race for a good while. How did things transpire for you? Was there any particular low during the race for you?
To be honest, the race went pretty well together. Severe pressure or anything like that. Like as Rachel said, the race was tough. There was a lot of nearly vertical hills up and down. There was a lot of hike bikes, bushwhacking. Course though itself was stunning. The scenery was amazing. Slovakia was beautiful. We actually really enjoyed the race. Like I say, our only issue with the race was there was a few issues with checkpoints, dark zone. Well, we knew that. We didn't agree with it, but we knew it. And like I said, the way it finished up was a bit sour. But until then, the race itself, we really enjoyed it. We were really, same as Rachel's team, we worked really well together. Pace wise, we were all fairly similar. I don't think there was any of us under any massive amount of pressure or anything at any stage. Yeah, we enjoyed it all.
Cool.
It was until the ending that things got a bit down for us.
Yeah. So that's where your lull would have probably come in. And I suppose looking at that, it was just very difficult, with some of the checkpoints not being out. And
but one of those things you could argue till you're blue in the face, and there's no right or wrong, there's no real winner, so it's just easier to put it behind you and move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like the race itself was absolutely, scenery wise and course wise, it was really, really good, really well to do.
Yeah, that's good. Johan, was there any low points in the race for you, whether it was maybe just even looking at the maps going, oh, holy Moses, where are we now?
Yeah.
Was there anything in particular that, at a time you just didn't feel great or anything like that?
I suppose, yeah, probably the first bike, we had the issue with Granny, and then after probably we changed the way we were going to go between the different checkpoints, because sometimes there was no order, and looking at the ground, we decided that there was the option we were going to take wasn't the right one, and then after we probably should have sat down for a bit and probably look at revised fully that section, because then after we ended up doing a lot of bushwhacking, and some of the trails probably weren't there exactly, or there were few more trails that were on the map. So like I say, it was probably the pressure of knowing that we lost a lot of time before that, and then after being in the rain, in the forest, and bushwhacking and being slow, that was probably a low point in terms of you just wanted that section to be finished, and and then after move on to the next one, but it took a while, and then we knew that we lost a lot of time there. So then after that, I think we just found our pace, I suppose, in terms of navigation, try to be a bit more communicative between I suppose myself and Ziggy, and then after just move on and try to go finish each section without making too many mistakes.
Yeah. And I suppose just sticking with yourself and Rachel there for a minute, like when you were coming into the finish, it was getting quite tight in terms of, potentially placing wise. How were you feeling coming in? Did you know kind of where you were or what the standings were? Did you know that third place was up for grabs at that stage, or were you kind of still thinking, shoot, it could be out?
I don't know. I'll jump in there because I'm going to have to head, unfortunately, in a minute or two. I would, if you don't mind, Johan,
go ahead,
say that I think we just played our own game from the start. I I think the fact that we hadn't all raced as a team together, we probably maybe didn't have the super competitive edge that we would have, I'd say, if we raced as a team now. And just in that, our goal was to get to the end first. And I think we just got stronger as the time went on. So we didn't really focus on what the other teams were doing and the nature of the way the race was as well. We didn't know what other people were what was happening, if they had gotten any penalties for anything or whatever was happening. So I think we kind of just focused on ourselves. And the last stage, we really didn't sleep much in this race. So on the last stage, we were actually just hanging from sleep. It wasn't a physical thing. It was just actually trying to stay awake. So I think our main focus was staying awake and getting to the end as quick as we could. I don't think we were too focused on the placement. At that point, it was just, ran out of chocolate coated coffee beans and get to the end.
Was there song sung?
There was a couple of songs. I even got Johan singing. Would you believe it?
No, I do not believe it.
I know his favorite song now. So when we're in Itera,
Catherine Wright.
he likes the 101 green bottles on the wall, and he can sing the whole way down. So there you go. He knows all the words.
Whereas I was thinking about it yesterday before the call, and I said, "What was that song again?"
And now I want it in French right here. That's the
goal.
That's the goal. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to leave you now.
Okay, that's no problem. Thanks for popping
cool.
on.
All right. Talk to you later. Yeah, thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. And I suppose just for you, Johan, did you feel that pressure kind of the other teams, or were you aware of it? Obviously, everyone on the team is different too. So with different goals and stuff. How were you feeling about that, or were you aware?
Yeah, so as I suppose, as Rachel said, like initially, like having someone to replacement last minute, I suppose, and looking at the teams that were there, well, I suppose you were looking for top 5, top 7, or something like that. So then after during the race, we knew we lost a lot of time. So then after Ziggy was friendly with the guys at the different climbing sections, so he got a few information in terms of, we knew that some team got 4 hours bonus and stuff like that on the climbing. But after we knew that they were 3 or 4 hours ahead at that stage, so we didn't think too much about that. It was much more, just like you're in the race, you just want to know a bit what's happening. It's a bit of a entertainment, basically. To know a bit more what's happening at the front, and like following, try to see if Elish team was winning or not, and leading, and so what happened later? It just happened that I think on that there was that long bike. We went to sleep there in the hut at the summit, and the next day, as we were cycling, we caught up with 2 teams, and there's probably where we thought, oh, they should have been way ahead of us. Like they were 4 or 5 hours ahead, like in the morning, and the next morning they were just with us. So think too much about where we were. We just try to race out like with them and or against them. And then after just like we went to the transition before the last track, and we were 4th that stage. One of the guy in the Black Hill team had a bit of a heat stroke, so they were losing time. They weren't as fast on the bike, and after they were taking longer at the transition, and so we just thought, oh, we'll do a quick try to do a quick transition, go on do the hike, and then after do the last section on the bike. That's where we initially that's probably what Rachel was trying to say. Like it's initially we're planning to, suppose we knew that it would take 10 hours or 12 hours. I suppose if we were to do the full night, like it would have been another like a full 30 hours without sleep again. So we were thinking about sleeping halfway through the bike, knowing that potentially the other teams, like they are strong normally. So even if the guy recovered from his stroke, they could have been pushing hard. So Ziggy was I don't know what he was on, but he was able to, being fast on the bike, like navigation spot on for the first 4 or 5 hours. And that's
Yeah.
like we were just following, and on the bike we just I think we nearly could have fallen apart in some way. Like it was a bit on the edge because we were like lacking sleep and like starting to daydream and all that. So
Yes.
we decided to sleep for 15 minutes, take a break, 15 minutes, just because we needed it. And then after move on again and try to finish the race as quickly as we could. And then after it was just, we knew that we had there was a 3 hour bonus difference with the team just behind us. So basically we had breakfast and we were looking at the watch and waiting for 3 hours and see if they were coming in or not.
Okay. Yeah. So a nice result in the end for you, though.
Yeah, like as I said, like we not expecting too much to the podium at the start of the race, and then after, it was nice to, just nice feeling to be on the podium for like that type of races.
Yeah, and I suppose that actually leads me in. I like Elise for you. Obviously, you had in both teams. I'm sure you had plenty of highs and lows throughout. But I suppose, is there anything that grabbed your attention during the race that kind of really stood out, whether it was the finish line or during the race or whatever it may have been? Was there anything that stood out as a high for you during the race?
The Via Ferrata was absolutely class.
Yeah, it looked
good. And I'd say once we crossed into Slovakia, like I was expecting the course to be fairly spectacular anyway after doing it last year. I mean, that was one of the reasons I was quite happy to do it again this year. But yeah, the Slovakia was just unbelievable. The trails, like it was tough in that there was a lot of hiking and whatever else, but it was well worth it. I'm not sure it was a race you could have gone flat out racing really, really hard with between the heat and just the physicality of the race. But it kind of, me, I think, and for the team in general, pace-wise, what we were doing, it really suited us.
Okay. Actually, you mentioned something there about the physicality of the race. And I'll come back to you, Johan, in terms of what your high was. But just a general question to both of you, in terms of races that are normally held, okay, we see that they're fairly generous in terms of everybody can kind of achieve them within reason, in terms of you don't need to be a pro at any particular sport as long as you're a jack of all trades, for want of a better way of explaining it. Whereas over in the race this year in Poland, there was, I suppose, an emphasis on the rock climbing section. Am I correct in that? As far as I'm aware, there was definitely an emphasis that that some of the sections might have been quite difficult.
It was only really that special task where there was rock climbing involved as such, and the finish of it, that ended up all being scrapped anyway.
Okay, in the end.
If we got there first and we were told one thing, and then the next team did something else completely different.
Okay.
So they scrapped it.
Okay. But let's say if all was being equal, would it have been a case that you would need somebody that was well capable of rock climbing? What level was it, Alish? Do you recall?
Yeah, to be honest, when we went up and we met the guys running it, they told us it was more or less impossible.
Okay.
So that was the feedback we were getting. They told us then that probably nobody would be able to do it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I thought it was a kind of a niche. Like as bonuses goes, we kind of felt that it wasn't a bonus open to everybody.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, that you needed to be
like, or an extra trek or an extra swim maybe or something, but all teams could do it if they chose to do it. Where we kind of feel that this was a bonus, and it was quite a big bonus that wasn't actually open to all teams.
Okay.
Because of a niche kind of a sport.
Yeah, and it is very niche, and I suppose that's where I'm saying in most races it's generous in the terms of it's a jack of all trades. They're difficult, but they're difficult to a level where if you have some experience, you'll be able to do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Johan, how did you find that within your team as well? Like, that even some of the Via Verate, while it looked absolutely amazing, which it did, it looked like the difficulty level even of some of the Via Verate was quite high.
Like I suppose it's sorry. Like we were chatting with that about that with Rachel more like and thinking about say I would say about Kilian, like it's not so much the skill, it's are you afraid of the heights or not? And in terms of Via Ferrata, I think in terms of skills, like if you know that you're safe and like you don't, like I haven't done much Via Ferrata, but I've done a bit of rock climbing, and then after it was just knowing that you're safe with the system. You know what to do and when to do it, and after you can go through. I felt that you could go through easily enough. Probably the fact that I'm tall enough, like I can reach the some of the different ladder and stuff to grab easily enough, so I can go through the
You
Via
didn't have to
Ferrata
drop
quite
a
easily.
leg down, did you, to give anyone a hand? No.
No, like
You gotta
when
walk
Crania
over
will be
some of
small, I
the
say he's done himself, like he's done the climb, the bonus climb. He finished it there. So
yeah.
but yeah, like in terms of technicality, I suppose it's more the what as others, just knowing what to do with the what to do with the belay, what to do with the can't even remember the name, all the equipment, basically how to set up your equipment. Like I think there was for us it was more at the start. Okay, they are checking the skills, checking how do you set up yourself, and at the end, like so we had to pass that. Every team passed it. And I think, but then after when you were on the race, I suppose they, except the Via Ferrata, there was always someone there to probably check what you were doing anyway, or probably doing it themselves. And then after you had to, I suppose, operate the equipment. So that's probably the skill. I think they are like the skill that you needed to have for that race was more in terms of the equipment, knowing how to use it. And then after on the race, if you were just doing the basics, it was very like I suppose it's something that every team should be able to do, and there was it was easy. Then after, yeah, if you were going to for the bonus, there like it was you need to have done hours of climbing, I would say, to be able to do
Yeah,
it.
like only one of your team did the bonus climb, isn't that right?
Yeah, and I myself tried like initially again like there was an issue with the communication. Was I asked them where to, like on the rock, like which way we were allowed to go. He like showed me one way. I thought that I would be comfortable doing it, and after as I went, equipped myself, went on it, he said, "No, you can't go that way. You have to go another way," which was much harder. So I
Okay.
went halfway up, and after there was just one part where I'm like again I haven't done climbing in many years, so I was probably a bit limited there. But so I went halfway up. But yeah, like it was, I think it was a six equivalent in French. In France, it'd be 6C there, so it was a six grade six plus or something like that here. So not
Okay. Yeah.
everybody
And
just can do it. But yeah, the saying like the Czech team there, the four of them were able to climb it, and they are just rock climbers as well. So that's a
yeah.
skill that they have.
Yeah. And that's what I'm just saying. Like in a lot of adventure races, you have the cushion that the organizers are that you can be a jack of all trades. You don't need to be proficient in one in particular. Like, you know what I mean? That you are able to kind of put your hand on them all, but to be a pro near enough, not a pro, but you know what I mean, at one. But it was just interesting how they've done that, because even there recently I was listening to one of the races out in the US, and they kind of have different skill levels within the race in terms of your accessibility to it. So when you do the race, there might be one thing that might be really good for a rock climber, but if you're a good canoeist, you'll be able to do something further on down the line that they may not be able to do in the canoe. So there's kind of options there for everyone depending on their pro status of a particular sport. But it was interesting. It was just interesting to see how that affected the whole race in a way, really. I get what you mean about the Via Verate. Once you're kind of tied in, you are fine, and the Via Verate is lovely. But there was one or two sections that I saw some photos of, and exactly as you said, if you're comfortable in knowing on how to use the equipment, then you're fine. And if you have long legs, because there was one or two sections there that there was big gaps, which was great. So Elise, I'm going to come to you about the Via Verate. Like in the sections, there was one section where it kind of came up over like kind of a lip thing, and I saw one of the girls coming up, and the sweat was nearly rolling out through her at that stage. But whether that was to do with the heat or the fright, I don't know. But how did you manage the bigger steps? Because it can be quite difficult with the Via Verate when you're putting one in and then you're putting up and then you're clipping in the other one and you're trying to get up onto that higher step.
The Via Ferrata I really, really enjoyed. There was two sections maybe where kind of longer arms or longer legs would have been quite nice, but I kind of just gave a bit of a jump, and it's a jump and a bit of a stretch. One was just kind of it's hard to explain, but it was just a case of you had to kind of, I suppose if you didn't like heights, it wouldn't have been a very comfortable maneuver. But yes. I'm happy enough and comfortable enough to be up there to do the maneuver. So yeah, I wouldn't say I had any trouble with it, but like I say, it was just that you had to take a bit of a jump and grab onto something.
Yeah, you could have done with a longer leg coming down to you for a little hand there.
Yeah.
So I suppose, Johan, just to go back to you while we sidetrack there, just on the climbing side of things, what would have been your particular high out of the race?
Yeah, like I suppose, the climbing, the fact that's different from other races, like probably the Ferrata climbing or having the abseil there. It was nice, nice to be there and just having a break from just hiking or pushing the bike in some way. But then after, like the I suppose as Elish said, like the nice views there when you were on biking and when you were in Slovakia, like just the villages and the valley and all that. I suppose even when I landed in Krakow, there didn't know what to expect, and there was a bit of for me, like in terms of just the houses and everything, like a bit of feeling of the Alps. And I think Rachel was saying all the time was, it's a bit like Austria. So there's a bit of that. It's nice to see like that type of landscape, and the fact that as well there's a village, and after this you're in the countryside quickly enough, and there's nothing else, like you're middle of there's no other habitation like in miles if you're outside the village and in the forest.
And I suppose just a question for both of you, so whoever wants to answer first. Ye have been previous teammates. You've been teammates with Kevin, and Kevin has obviously raced with yourself and Rachel Johan last year in Itera, and with, I think, Sean Stewart, if I remember rightly. Obviously, you've raced with Elise and Kevin in South Africa in the World Championships there 2 years ago. And I suppose, what's it like? It must be great to actually be on the course together, that you know one another. But I suppose in another way, what's it like when you're racing one another? Because you kind of know each other and how you race. So does that fall into anything, or does it matter, or are you just happy to see one another on the course?
It is kind of strange to have Johan there and kind of not on the team. But wouldn't say, I mean, I don't think there'd be any mind games coming into play, because like Johan's always very consistent. He's consistently strong. So it's not as if you're going to be saying, oh, he won't be able for this. It's kind of like, you're kind of like that when there's only two Irish teams over there, even though you're against each other, you're kind of wanting the Irish to do well at the same time. So but like I say, I've raced with Johan, I've raced with Nadi, and they're both they're both really good to race with. So, and kind of similar in style in that they're both very consistent and just easy to rely on. They're dependable.
They are, to be sure. And Johan, for you?
Yeah, no, I think it's just like it's nice when you see the other team, you can have a chat as well. Like it's easy, joke a bit at the start. Like I think we met well, like it was early on, but then after like we were laughing because we were running like the 4-ish, like also like, and after the three Polish behind us, like so there's a bit of a like it was just
It was
funny at that stage.
Polish over in that race.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, and after you just like I suppose we probably went a slightly different objective, but again, like when you see them, you just hope they like the best for them, like in terms of as I said like earlier, we try to always get the news and just to see what they do and hope that they when the Danish were coming strong, like hope that they were able to keep the lead on it. So
yeah. I know it is. It's always nice to see. I think when you're away like that, it's always nice to see another team in the desert arrive from somewhere. So it is always nice to touch base, have a little chat, and move on.
After as well the race.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to have a bit of crack. And
There was, I didn't really have anyone over there last year. Like not that it's from the experience, but it was really nice this year to have the lads to be chatting to.
Yeah, and to be able to debrief, I think, as well, Elise, because you probably didn't get that last year.
Yeah, to sit around chatting and just discussing everything was quite nice.
Yeah. I suppose in terms of racing now for the rest of the year, I think, Johan, your plan is to go to Itera.
Yes.
Which is going to be in a few weeks' time. This will air after Itera. So I'm sure I'll be on to you again in terms of how did that go. Any particular races coming up for you, Elise, this side of Christmas?
It's looking slightly unlikely at the moment, but hope dies last and all the rest of it. We'll see. It's up there at the moment.
Yeah, something might pop up.
Something come up. We'll try and figure something out.
Very good. Very good. I suppose I'm really happy to leave it there. Just one question for both of you. So Elise, is there anything that you'd like to add that I didn't ask or that you'd like to mention?
Off the top of my head, I don't think so. Once Natty watches this back, he might think of something.
Okay.
But yeah, he'll have probably a different perspective. Like he was coming in to join two lads he hadn't met before.
Yeah.
He'll have a new perspective on it from his point of view.
Perfect. Okay. And Johan, is there anything that I haven't asked that maybe you'd like to touch on or?
I'll just mention that, I suppose the race there, they announced the new dates and it's next year it's in a different location. It's not in the Beskid region, but somewhere closer to the Czech Republic border.
Oh,
so
right.
maybe interesting, maybe some different landscape. And don't know if it's steeper, the hills are steeper or not, but we'll see.
Well, there's no contouring. I don't know, has that changed, Johan? Do we contour
it's straight
now?
up, straight down, yeah.
Yeah, straight up, straight down. Why take the brandy pad if you don't have to?
No, I think Ziggy is even worse than me on that, so yeah.
Brilliant. I just want to say a massive congratulations to both of you. Like Elise, you gave us really Gym City gave us a run for our money. You kept us on our toes. It was absolutely amazing to have Kellyanne over there. So we were actually able to touch base. We did a couple of lives with Kellyanne. It was amazing to get the updates straight from her. If she had been talking to you, how you were feeling, what the race was going like for you, what she could tell us in terms of what was ahead or behind you, and how other teams were getting on as well. So from that perspective, it was absolutely amazing to have her on the ground, kind of giving us live information as it was happening. Obviously, she was meant to race with you as well, Johan. So it it was great, I think, to be able to get her to do some of the live coverage for us. I hope she enjoyed it. I don't know, did she say anything, but it was great that I was able to have some contact with somebody out there, and she was able to give us so much information of what was going on within the race for ye as well. And ye gave us a right run for our money right up until the end, because we weren't sure whether you were going to get that podium or not. And it was just amazing to see two Irish teams on the podium coming second and third, nearly first, but second and third. So it was actually great. And I suppose from that perspective, it's a pity Kellyanne didn't get to join us this evening. I was hoping she would, but it was a big shout out to her, because I kind of wanted to get how she felt the race, considering she should have been racing, and how she felt following the race and sitting in and giving us some updates as well. But hopefully we might get a little chat with her at a later stage about that as well. So all I can say is congratulations on behalf of Adventure Racing Ireland. It was great to follow you. Great to see the jerseys out there. That was amazing. And I suppose I'll leave the final word to you if you have anything that you want to add to that or anything.
No, I suppose, we'd have to say thank you very much for all the support. We were getting messages from a lot of different people, and they were all very much appreciated, both before, but especially after the race. It was great to hear the likes of Brian Keogh and Paddy and Noel and a few more of them after the race, Sarah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And Johan?
Oh, thanks for for everyone there supporting the different teams and following us. And then after, thanks for the teammates as well, and the Polish teammates that didn't make it today, but we're strong there, and couldn't have made it without them. So.
And it's great that Kellyanne gets to race now for Itiris. So hopefully we'll be able to get some good tracking on you and follow you. And
you'd have to find someone to follow the race there live.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll do something in the meantime. I might get Kevin to write a couple of write-ups for me if he's not too busy at work. Again, I just want to thank you for popping on tonight. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Thanks a million, guys.
That's all right.
See you.